something. We're at the Nürburgring. I think it's round 4 or 5. Ayrton Tobin here with Matt Higgs filling in, taking the solid place of Cole McRae. I think we even have a Justin Swan here, possibly. Maybe he can lend his voice.
Hello.
Oh,
I'm just a tech guy today.
Yep. Well, our tech man happens to know a lot about racing, so it's a good thing he's here.
Techman first, racing kind of second.
Yeah, pretty much. And basically, for some reason, we let the janitor run the series. I'm not sure why, but
I don't know how that happened. I fell backwards into it.
He's doing a decent job of it. But this is the GT3 Italy versus Germany here at Nürburgring. 5 minutes to go in qualifying. Oh, Aldian getting a little out of sorts there. Looks like... Well, our timing is a little weird showing up here. Apparently, Justin Swan 16th is leading. Oh, you know what? That's because it's showing the intervals instead of... Let's see if we can fix that. Yes, we can. So, Gianmarco Silvestri is currently on provisional pole, right ahead of Aldian and Archie. I don't know, Matt. You are our track guy. What do you think about this track for GT3s?
I think it's a good track for GT3s. It's just an issue with the last chicane there. It's a little tricky with a lot of these cars. I know that the Lambo absolutely hates those curves, and you have to kind of cut the second one in order to get a good lap time.
Yeah, I know last time we were here, it was the season finale, but 2 seasons ago, and that provides some great racing, especially turn 1. Always does.
Interestingly, this week it's been raining very consistently, except for right now. This is the lightest we've seen all week. It's been monsoon season in Nürburgring, Germany. And right now, on the 11th hour, we are down to drizzle conditions.
Hang on, Martin says that OBS is not getting the in-game audio.
Interesting. Yep. In fact, you can see that on OBS.
Not yet. Maybe it's an OBS thing.
That would make sense.
Not currently clued into the
Okay, Martin,
system
that
to be able to
should have
see
fixed it. I don't know about balance, but that should have at least got the sound in there because it was on a different one.
Martin says fix, all caps.
All right, to our
Awesome.
lovely audience of Martin, how does our balance sound? It is
Hello to
it is a
everyone.
little disarming for us because the sound is cutting and going constantly. But as long as you're hearing it all right. Okay. We got the all clear from the big man himself.
Awesome. I mean, I did last week's Sunday GTC with Parsec completely muted, no game sound. I was flying by my eyeballs. It worked fine.
So I see down in the 16th and last is our man David Nelson, who is continuing to have the worst possible Academy season, despite absolutely lighting it up over in the GT Challenge and the or on the 3D Speed side of things.
He was lighting it up early in the GT Challenge, but lately he's been struggling with his Ferrari.
I guess I shouldn't say GT Challenge, but the 3D Speed Series. Like in our practice race, he qualified second over there, and I think finished somewhere around the podium. So let's see if he decides to be awake for one of these Academy races.
I think he's having a lot of trouble with the Ferrari. Might not be the best suit for him, but I think he really wants to push himself to learn to drive stuff he might not be comfortable in.
That's the one he's using on Wednesday, and he's doing great there.
No, he uses the Aston on Wednesday, isn't he?
Does he?
Yep, he's my teammate.
Oh, you're right. He's in the Aston Martin. That could be it then.
Oh,
Aldian, yeah.
He probably gained about 2/10 doing that. That's the strat here. Drift it through that corner.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, I don't know about you, but I'm actually just gonna mute Parsec on my end because I'd rather have no game sound than on and off game sound.
It can get kind of jarring.
Yeah, especially early in the morning.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's 2:15 a.m. or p.m.
Yeah, it is. Silvestri had a decent showing last week until the second half of the race, and he is back with a complete vengeance this week. This might be the first time we see someone on the podium that is considered a returning driver.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that. Finally, someone to overcome the ballast. It's proven to be quite tricky for them.
Who, Bilotti or Aldian?
Silvestri.
Oh, Silvestri. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. He has like 35 kilograms or something?
45.
45.
Yes.
But I have 75. I see how it is.
Well, you're an instructor. He's a returning driver. Although at the rate he's going, he will be an instructor someday. He's super consistently quick. It's just a matter of keeping it together during a race.
Yeah, he's had some good qualifying in the GT Challenge Series. He just gets bad luck or spins or...
See, we
Lots of
have
mistakes.
a new name here. In 13th. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. How do you say that, Justin?
It's Belarusian, I think. K. I can get the pronunciation on the first letter. K.
Janovic?
Can we get an interview with him on how to pronounce his name?
I guess
So-
Janovic?
Janovic?
Possibly. We'll see after the race if they're available for an interview.
Janovic, maybe?
If it's anything like I don't think it's anything like Polish, but my understanding would that it could be like an H sound for that whole
Butter.
first sector. Shanovics, maybe.
I don't know.
Not my strong point. I can, however, grab a time. Oh no, I can't. I thought I had the. Oops.
Sheen was a decent qualifying in 11th. Or not?
Yeah,
12th.
he's really been trying. I've worked with him all week, and there's a nice little pocket there in terms of time.
Is there no Jay Butler? Oh,
Okay,
there's
so
Butler.
I just spilled a cup of water on my desk that went right onto an upward-facing power outlet thing, and basically down into all the holes. Amazingly, it didn't explode and kill everything. So hopefully it just dries out. If I leave for some reason, that's probably why.
That's a shame. Or maybe a plus.
Yeah, it's not a good day. So far, my first attempt at drinking this water basically waterboarded myself, pouring it down my nose. And the second attempt spilled it all over the desk.
Judging by these lap times, it seems that the drivers may have not elected to go to slicks. I think in these conditions,
I say
slick
slicks
tires would be
is-
the preferred, and I think there's
Mhm.
more time to be had here, even in greasy conditions. I know a couple seasons ago, you may or may not have been there, Matt, but at Zolder, we had these conditions throughout qualifying, and this was as good as the track got, and drivers actually set, within about a half second there of what you'd expect to see on, fast track conditions. So I
Yeah,
don't think it needed to be as much of a hindrance as it was.
Hmm.
greasy is definitely slick territory.
I
Damp is pushing it, but
Yeah.
all depends.
Funny story, I was actually just doing a race yesterday in the GT1 series at this exact track in light rain, and there was a lot of drama as the race started in light rain, and people were trying to figure out if you ran slicks or intermediates or wets. And I was on full wets, thinking it would get worse, and it was great for the opening laps. Unfortunately, it dried up, and should have pitted, but I kind of was like, all right, I made my bed. I'm not going to pit. I'm just going to play the track position game, which worked out until it didn't. And then 30 minutes or so of driving on a completely dry track on wets was a problem.
So what would you choose
Yeah.
here, Matt, with the weather forecast saying it's going to stay this drizzle throughout the race?
Is it a light drizzle or what's track conditions?
Track conditions
greasy.
right now is sub-light rain. Track conditions are greasy, and the weather forecast is sub-light rain.
I would say I'd pick what's it called? Slicks, because as people are going around the track, it's gonna dry it up. There's gonna be a dry line that forms, even if it's a little greasy. So just people driving over it will dry it out a bit. So and your wet tires will just cook.
I think you're right. I think they'll keep the track pretty dry. Now I'm going to disappear for the first few minutes of this race. If you guys will
Alrighty.
have me back, I'll love to rejoin, but I'm going to go put on my stewarding cap for the first lap procedure.
Sounds good.
Go for it.
Awesome.
All right, so let's look over these standings because
Oh,
last week
finally we got rid of him.
so we had a pretty close fight among the top few, but then last week Takumi Parker was not there. Notice this week Legoshi is not here, so kind of dropping those two. But as of right now, you have Baker up at the lead with 159, then 14 back to Legoshi, and then only 2 more back to Archie. And Will Parker has dropped out because you get about 60 points per race if you win. So unfortunately, with missing a race, he's gets 60 points back. So we're looking at the top 3 of Baker, Legoshi, and Archie. Considering Legoshi isn't here today, willing to bet he's not going to score any points. So that might kind of take him out of it. So we're going to be looking at Baker, who is 16 points out front of Archie. And I'm looking at this. Archie's starting 3rd. Baker's back in 8th. This could be Archie's chance to make up some good points here. As just noted, Gianmarco Silvestri, our man with the ballast, is on pole. Let's see if he can finally capitalize. His trouble has come in, fighting through the traffic every week. But if he can get a good launch here, that should not be a problem. Further down our list of standings, after Parker comes Butler in 5th, Bellotti in 6th, Dave Jones in 7th, Silvestri in 8th, Stevenson in 9th, and Northrop in 10th. Looks like most of those guys are here this week. Northrop's having a great start here up in 4th. Alright, let's focus on Gianmarco for the start. See how he handles this. Matt Higgs, are you present? Nope.
Alright, I'm back.
There he is. So Matt, how do we feel about the fact that Cole is currently skiing and not here watching the race with us?
As someone who enjoys skiing very much, I hate him. Can I just say for a moment how much I hate Lance Stroll's voice?
No. Yeah. I think it's probably the fact that he's just a hateable person in general. His voice doesn't rescue him. Okay, there's the name. Carolina Shanovich. Okay.
That's an interesting livery.
And
Are we? Here we go on the roll to the line.
here we go. Aldian's pretty far offset. Oh, no, no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
no.
There's stuff in the back happening. I think that was
It's
Baker.
Barba. That's Barba and Baker.
Barba and Baker. Ugh, that's not what you want to see for Baker. Alright, can Silvestri hold on going through turn 1? He's got the inside line. It's kind of hard to mess this up from the inside line. Yep. Alright. Looks like...
Alright, Chris Stevenson, where is he? In 5th there?
Stevenson
No, Chris!
having issues going around. That's not great. Alright, he got it back going. Up front, that is Aldian. Aldian, can he muscle the lead? Oh, and Archie's going to follow him through. Silvestri having a rough opener here. So this is apparently a great track for those mid-engine Audis and Ferraris.
And Lambos. Except no, actually, it's the 720S and the what's it called, the Porsche Duel here.
Oh man, just like that, Jean-Marc Silvestri, first to third, and Bilotti up there in fourth, I believe. Baker making his way up to fifth. His timing. Oh, Baker runs wide. That's gonna
Northrop
let
passes him.
Northrop by him. So does Aldian. He goes wide. Archie had a look. Watch here. Someone's gonna make a dive into turn one. We know this. Bilotti had a bit of a look, but then backed off pretty gently. And up
You
the
see
inside.
Northrop. Oh. I didn't know Northrop would look like that, but he was looking for that pass. There he goes.
And Silvestri, I don't know if it's his ballast or his car. Is he on different tires than the others? Because he's getting eaten alive here.
Maybe a different engine map. Maybe he chose the wet setup and it gives you a different engine map, I think.
Oh no. Yeah, whatever he had going on in qualifying, it has not transitioned. So Altian is away.
Archie hunting him down in second there. It's an all men engine top 5.
Okay. Well, let's see how things have shaked out in the back. If we have any real incidents going down the field. Silvestri's fallen 6th, just behind Baker now. Then we've got Barba, who gets a tap from Butler. Oh no. And he appears to be sitting still. Now Butler is right ahead of Shanovich, we'll say. Perugini right behind him. Then you've got David Brock and Alex Shine. Man, great running for these guys. They're right up there in the pack.
Oh, yeah.
Giant steps forward for both these drivers. Stevenson had some unfortunate contact earlier. He was having some great runs. Last week, were you here last week?
Yes, I was here last week.
Yeah. No, he finished 5th. Great run there. Nelson languishing a little back here in either 13th or 14th. 13th it is. Barba did get going. Albertson and Jones. Jones is definitely the one who stands out. He must have been involved in some contact there. This is not his normal running position.
I tell you what, the Justin Swan guy needs to get out onto the track.
Honestly. So Bilotti having a great run. Let's see, so far this season he's finished 3rd, 7th, and then he was not here for Paul Ricard. Even with that, he's 6th in the standings.
Are you getting those game stutters too? Or is it just me?
It has to be a parsec issue. Stream seems fine, but yeah. We're just having parsec issues again. But is this a Justin?
Yes, I am back from
All right.
wild lap 1.
Yeah, so we certainly didn't catch everything. Did anything stand out to you on lap 1?
Unfortunately, we had Chris Stevenson, Chris Daddy's Boy Stevenson,
Yes.
have a little bit of a spin in turn 1. I don't know if he had help or not by the time I caught it, and I think Nelson was involved in that. They're fighting their way through the field again. We had Baker go around coming through the chicane, and because of the freight train of cars, since it's early goings, he had to wait basically for the entire field to go. And we've also
Oh no, you're
had-
right. Last we saw, he was up there in like 5th. Suddenly he's 13th.
Yep, and then it seems like the Audis towards the rear of the field were struggling. Well, they were at the front of the field, but Barber and excuse me, I can't think of the one. Jones have had a few offs themselves. Just because it's slick weather, I wouldn't say it's curb weather. So I think some people are getting caught off guard. They're
Yeah.
going back to a dry line and getting caught on those curbs.
Any idea what's up with Silvestri? He's like, he running a different setup or different tires than others? Because that qualifying pace is gone. He's just getting, swarmed by these guys on some of the straights.
Well, let's see. I will see if I can
He's back up to 5th.
get you
and
some
kinda
on
got
the
things.
field reporting here.
We did note there are 2 drivers here in 9th and 10th. Brock and Shine. Not only are they in the top 10, but they're in the middle of the pack. This is a huge leap forward for these two.
Put in a lot of work this week.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Brock making some big advancements during the 3D test race.
Yeah, I think he didn't get on with the Bentley very much.
Similarly, really strong showing here for Shine.
David Sloop is not here either, I noticed.
No,
No, I think he's signed out for this one.
any communication from Legoshi? Missing him this week.
He also had concerns about his own practice time. So it seems like some drivers were really afraid of getting out here without getting to the track nice and early.
Bunch of pussies, all of them.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, I'm kidding. Sorry, Justin, that's reserved for you.
So this Baker livery, I know he's been in a black car all season, but I don't recognize this. Is this new this week?
So as of the as of Paul Ricard, he was picked up by Mercedes to represent their factory brand, we'll say, and had switched over to the new F1 livery that's featured in the game.
So this was just added recently? Okay. I could
Yeah, it was a
sworn
recent
I hadn't
addition.
seen. Yeah, I'd
Well,
seen
Same
it
number on the
value.
side.
Okay, cool.
For those who don't know, they also added Honda also added an AlphaTauri livery to the game.
Today on SX.
Yeah.
Which is ironic considering Albon is going to DTM with a Ferrari in Red Bull.
DTM and a Ferrari in the same sentence.
Yep.
Nice. I've been seeing this livery in AMS too. Nice time a little crowd like ACC caught up and put it in there.
What is CrowdStrike? Does anybody know?
One of those nebulous information technology sourcing companies that does stuff with information. That's all you need to know.
That seems a little sus if you ask me.
That's most of the sponsors here. We do stuff with information.
Looks like Butler ran wide going into the hairpin, and now he's side by side going into Schumacher as he rejoins the track with
Get some view on that.
Perugini.
No, that's the hairpin there. Oh. It's just a
Oh, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. I had the wrong corner.
For a second, I was
My
like, are
eyes,
we
they
delayed?
do deceive me.
They're getting
blurry
hunted
eyes.
down by David Brock.
Really? Let's go, Brock.
Honestly, this is amazing to watch.
Oh no, Chris Stevenson went off again. He's down in 14th.
You know,
He's up to 11.
David has talked extensively about he has done a lot of, sim racing his whole life, for decades, basically longer than I've been alive. But, he'd kind of been out of the game for a very long time. And so I think it was a matter of shaking off some rust here. Things were very, freaky and rusty for some opening weeks. But, even saves a nice little slide there. I think he's starting to wake back up.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to him earlier. You could call it an interview. Talking about his past life as a motorcycle racer.
Exactly.
So he's got a lot of experience. Enduros, motorcycle racing. He went to racing school in the 80s.
So
So
yeah, maybe it was a matter of just catching up to technology on the PC and wheel side of things, but there's no doubt he knows his motorsports, racing, the line, conventions, all of that very well.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's my dad's age.
I think he's also a crowd favorite. Maybe for that reason alone. But it's hard not to root for him. It really is.
What are you talking about? I'm rooting for all these guys.
You know what? I should say that, but it's hard. You look at some drivers out there that really put in a lot of time and effort, and you want to see them do well and be rewarded for the time they put in.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of a guy being
he's definitely
rewarded
one of
well,
them.
Bilotti. He's had some good looks this season, and he's looking great today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was one of our more shy competitors. He popped in a past season and bowed out because of concerns about internet and
Mhm.
experience. And now that he feels like he's got his feet beneath him just enough to work on the academy, he's been putting in the time. So it's good to see him doing well as well.
For
Something's
the
going on with Butler again. He's dropping in position more.
oh man. Well, go back 30 seconds in time. He was in the pits. That's where he lost time.
Oh, do you think perhaps he started on the wrong tires for these conditions and had
Yes,
overheated them?
certainly looks like it. You're thinking he might have just gone on wets. Does this have any sort of intermediates?
No.
Unfortunately, no. It's one way or the other.
Okay.
That's why I hate changeable conditions like this.
Do we have any sort of indication from the color or anything on what
No.
compound they're running? That's unfortunate.
No, but if you zoom in close enough to the side, you can see the tread sticking out. There's kind of like a ring that goes around where the slick would be, where you see the tread then
Yeah.
after it.
Alright, I'm gonna need one of you to run down there with the camera. And
Alright, I'll
I
be
can
right
do
get
that
back.
for
next to the
you.
car moving by.
No, I will gladly do that for you.
Alright, folks, if we don't hear back from Justin, he died a glorious death.
I'm
Trying to
going
stick
down the
his
pit lane
camera
right
up
now.
to a Mercedes as it drove by.
Make sure you run to the track as well.
Taking the sky bridge as we speak.
Baker's
Yeah,
having a
yeah,
little
it looks
bit.
like he started the race on wets. I can see this right now. He is definitely
So
on a
he
wet
switched to
compound tire
Like
going into
now?
the pit lane.
Oh,
okay.
before.
So he
And
switched
he
to
is
dry.
now on slicks. So
Okay.
yeah, he started on the wrong compound, decided against it.
Oh no, that's not for position, is it?
What? This fight we're watching?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
oh. Oh,
Well,
for
this
some reason I was looking at the car and I'm like, is that Butler? No, it's not
no,
Butler.
no, this is Baker trying to make his way back up. And as we were talking with Archie currently leading, I think he would be poised to take over the points lead here. So Baker
Oh
needs to
yeah,
get up
he
there.
passed Albion.
Yeah, and going into the halfway point of the season as we get ready for our holiday Easter break, as well as the looming finale of the extended spa race for the Sunday GTC. Uh, I want to say our top three competitors are separated by less than 5 points.
Right now you have Baker out front by 14, and then Legoshi and Archie are 2 points apart. Obviously, Legoshi is going to fall behind, just as Parker did last week. So you're going to be looking at basically Baker versus Archie,
Has
unless
Parker signed out, or is he just like not
Oh,
been
you're
able to
right.
show
He's
up?
not here again.
Takumi Parker. I'm not sure actually. That's a good point. I don't believe I've gotten a message, although I could be mistaken. My inbox is constant. It is eternal.
I'll make sure to keep tagging you or keep sending you messages so it confuses you.
Mhm. Well, looking at how they run now, it's about a 30-point difference between first and sixth place. So with Archie only being 16 points behind Baker, if things stood like this, he would take a pretty commanding lead. He's certainly
not only
been the
that-
most consistent. He's finished 4th, 2nd, and 2nd so far.
The team's points also having the double Audis on the podium again is really going to hurt the chances of the Italian faction.
Do we have that? Yes, we do have that. So, going into this race, Germany versus Italy. Germany is leading the way with 666 points, and Italy was at 574. So, not an insurmountable lead. I mean, by the way they rack up points here, you could get it
Oh no,
back
there's a
pretty
big gap
easily.
from Silvestri to Bellotti.
Yeah, it's a 9-second gap.
Bellotti
Though
is-
this week we did have the new sign up of, I'm gonna stick with Hiskanovics, but I'm sorry if that's wrong. And they seem to be a very strong competitor in the Lamborghini, so it's always good to see another driver in our ranks.
Alright, so Nilsson is not having a bad day today. He's hanging with the pack this time. So, that's good. I don't think we've seen him gone around once.
Oh no, Butler has just gotten a drive-through for speeding in pit lane. Or no,
Hmm.
not Butler, I'm sorry, Albertson.
Oh no, I know how that feels.
Jones is having a dreadful day down in 16th.
Except it could be worse.
might-
It could
he
be
must have hit it.
leading or could be in a better position. It would feel worse, but it certainly does not feel good, I bet.
You know what? I am going to go ahead and check to see what driver started on what tires. I'll be right back, gentlemen. I'm
Can
gonna
you
go
do
down
that?
for
That
some
would
more
be
pit lane
wonderful.
reporting.
Alright.
Check Silvestri.
Yes.
Alright.
I mean, it's
So
possible he
Vestry-
started on dries, and the others were on wets, maybe? Which, might have explained why when it was a bit more damp at the start, he was, especially in cold tires, a little more squirrely around there, but is kind of starting to come back.
See in just a moment here. So Vestry started on dries.
Really?
Let's see. Number 125, Aldian, started on dries. Archie, dries. Looks like dries for our top 4.
Yeah,
Our
it's
top
dries out there.
5, our
That
top
rain's
6.
still coming.
See if there's anyone here that didn't start on dries besides the gamble play from Butler.
Well, this is going to get interesting because the forecast does call for consistent rain through the end, so it's not going to let up. I don't know
No,
if
it looks
ACC models any sort of pooling or.
It does.
It does.
I know
So
it.
the only
It's really
sorry to
pronounced
interrupt.
at Spa, where the
the only two
puddling can involve.
competitors that started on wets were the two that have now changed to slicks in these conditions.
Is that Jones
Interesting.
Butler?
Yes. Unfortunately, Albertson did pick up a drive-through from his speeding in the pits.
I feel him. That sucks.
We'll have to see what happens. There's a good amount of cars on the track. It might not result in too much pooling, especially with how light the rain is. This is the lightest it's been quite literally all week.
Certainly not easy to drive in, that's for sure.
No. I mean, I even made sure to add a little bit of moisture to the air this morning to make sure it was a nice and wet race. And we're still left with this.
Well, this is where we'll see who has the best control of their cars.
Bellotti is certainly pressuring Aldion. He's all over him.
Yeah, all in these conditions. Pretty good thing just to keep the pressure on. Let him mess up.
Looks like he's looking for a pass here. Alright, attaboy, Chris. Fighting back in 10th place.
So cutaway, but Bellotti did not make a move on Aldian going into the chicane. Let's even get a run out of the last turn. No, it looks like Aldian got a great line through there.
And Brock is still holding on to 9th, by the way.
Kudos to him, pressuring.
He is with number of cars back there.
He's holding off Chris Daddy's Boy Stevens and Dave Nuclear Nelson.
Hang on, we lost Bart. Oh no. Who did we lose?
I don't think anyone.
We
did
lost
lose-
Nelson.
No, we're looking at
No,
Nelson.
no, Nelson's still there. I think we lost Butler. I think he called it a day after
we
starting
lost
on the wrong
Butler.
tires.
Yeah, didn't see much reason to keep running that far back. Oh boy.
You know, Aaron, how could you sound so tired while we have such an intense race going on right now?
Oh,
Because I'm
Steve's giving
putting
us fast,
all
Brock.
of my energy into processing what's happening. There's just so much going on. There's nothing left for me to, like, breathe.
All right, all right.
This race
Okay.
is just too exciting. It's using up everything I've got.
You know, maybe we should get a sponsor with some energy drinks. Keep everybody awake.
I heard what's the word I'm looking for? What's the one I'm looking for? Volt energy or no?
Rich Energy, perhaps?
Yeah,
Could we
Rich
get a
Energy.
sponsorship with Rich?
The Rich Energy is looking for a new sponsorship opportunity.
Yes, Rich Energy, if you would like to get your name out there, you know, like you never really got the opportunity in F1, just come sponsor the ESR Academy. Easy.
Now, weren't there rumors that they were back on the table?
Yeah, I heard that as
looking
well.
into some stuff.
I know they have been sponsoring a bike racing team, and I think one of the lower GT series teams this whole time. But they've hung around.
I think GT4 and
Yeah, they're
Superbike
trying to
as
get
well.
back in with F1, because why not?
As if their first thing wasn't enough.
Okay, so I don't know if Bilotti made a mistake somewhere, but he suddenly fell way off the back of Aldian.
Yeah, it shows Butler only did 8 laps.
Nelson looking around the outside. Not a turn you're going to pass around the outside.
Oh no, Nelson has some front end damage there. He must have came together with Stevenson at the beginning. Or oh, there goes Nelson passing.
Ooh. Well, he has the inside line there, but that does not set himself up great unless he can pin him down. No. He backed out.
Now let's see if Albertson remembers to take his drive-through here. This is the last chance he has to serve it. Looks like he might get auto parked by the system here. We'll have to see what happens.
It depends if anybody has taken a penalty before, because if you haven't, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it shot him. He got DQ'd for not taking it.
Uh-oh.
So we'll go over that in post-race, but for now, we're gonna let him roll back out of the pits.
Okay,
here.
getting a nice run. Does he have enough overlap? Can he stick it up the inside? No. Although Stevenson runs wide, that will open the door for Nelson, who's been applying the pressure and finally gets through.
You know, Brock was also telling me earlier that he adjusted his steering angle settings, and all of a sudden it started to come to him. So maybe that was the big change here.
I mean, if he had it way too low or way too high, those could definitely be a problem.
Yeah, I think he said he was operating on a 900-degree wheel.
Oh, wow.
I mean, depending how that's set up, like, I think mine is set up as 900, but then the game recognizes it and has it correctly. But yeah, if you have the settings wrong to where you're actually saying, most of these are, what, about 540 to 450, and if you set that to be 900, then yeah, you're gonna have a bad time.
I can tell you what cars have what steering lock. I have a picture about it of all like the cars and what steering lock they have.
That's good to know.
I'll tell you, I much prefer 540. That is my favorite range. There's a couple of them that have dipped down around like 390 recent years, and ugh, I don't like that.
Yeah, all of a sudden that was my hardest time with dealing with open wheelers was just how tight the steering gets. Oh no! Wow.
Seven.
Brock narrowly avoids that. Dave Jones gets loose on the AstroTurf coming out of turn 2 and
Woo.
just comes right across the bow of Brock, but he narrowly escapes it.
Gotta replay this, see what happened. So Jones was a lap down here.
You know, it's a day of firsts
Oh,
here.
you're
That's the first
right.
time Brock has been the lapper in that situation, as far as so
Awesome,
it's a good
because
feeling.
yeah, some of the issues we've had with blue flags. The best thing you can do. Oh, this is an interesting camera angle. The absolute best thing you can do is be the one on the other end. Get to see what is frustrating to deal with, what you want people to do. So here we go. Perfect opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. And another point, watching from the helicam here, I get a really good angle of the dry line starting to develop. Even some of the curbs are starting to dry out,
Mhm.
particularly on the exit of the hairpin and through Schumacher. I'm able to see where the green is discolored from it being dry instead of wet.
Mhm. Well, I'll tell you that giant wide curbing runoff area between 2 and 3. Those are not drying out, and they're not going to dry out anytime soon.
Yeah.
That's the lowest part of the kind of the low part of the track right there, and boy, did they just put down that big flat plasticky curbing in the worst place. Although to be fair, that is going wide. You don't have to run wide. You can just stick to the track.
According to this thing
Oh,
here, it
okay,
says
hold on. That is Aldian going wide through the hairpin for second place, and Bilotti, who had tracked him down, finally gets by.
that's gonna get some points back for Team Italy.
Getting some. Can Bilotti possibly track down our leader? He is 4.2 seconds back.
Alberton is back.
Oh yeah.
That's
Wait,
weird.
what?
Yeah, as a steward, I manually cleared it once it sent
Okay.
him to the pits. Consider it turned into a stop and go instead of a
Yeah, it turned into a pretty
drive
hefty
through.
penalty. He didn't escape
Yeah.
scot-free. All right, Nelson has tracked back down David Brock for 9th place. Nelson goes on the attack in a matching 488. Look to the outside, look to the inside, back to the outside. Approaching the outside, is he just going to try and outbrake him and cut down in front?
He
I think
does.
so. Pretty aggressive move there from David.
I wonder
Nice.
if Brock was a little rattled by Nelson's aggressiveness, just kind
Yeah,
of let him
he
go
took a
there.
pretty conservative defensive line. Certainly, if he was feeling more comfortable with the fight, being on the inside, he could have kind of just squeezed him out. You'd have no problem doing that, but you saw David was coming and, 11 minutes to go. Sometimes, don't slow yourself down holding him up. I think if he
David
put it,
saw David.
yeah, that was a good example of I think if Brock had fought Nelson there too hard, that would have allowed Stevenson to get through as well. So he did a pretty good job just letting David go through.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's found a bit of consistency, and with a little bit of luck, even if Chris gets by, I think uh, Brock here still has a good shot at finding his way in the top 10. Got about 10 minutes left, so all it takes is one big spin or a hefty accident or even a drive through for course cuts, and he's right back in the running for a top 10. And that's all assuming Chris gets by, because Chris does look to have a bit more pace, but he's going to really have to figure out how he wants to set up because Brock is just driving a very consistent, this is the racing line, I'm taking the racing
Yeah,
line,
he's been
good
very
luck.
composed, holding up cars. Not really getting phased here.
All right, Stevenson is pressuring Brock here. Let's see if he can pass in our last 9 minutes here. Good recovery from Barba up to 8th place.
I'll tell you, hearing that he might have been running much wider, steering angle, That explains a lot of things. In a GT1 series, he chose the hardest car, which was the GT1 McLaren F1, which is a car that is incredibly squirrely and needs constant adjustments exiting every turn. So if you're running like triple the steering angle, that's not going to be a good time. You aren't going to survive.
Yeah. And you can just tell by his body language or his car language coming up Schumacher how much more confident he is on turn in. Like there
Way
wasn't a
more
bobble
confident.
at all.
Yeah, especially I think you're seeing it mostly on exit. Before, if you started Tino lose traction, you'd see him, as you would with massive steering angle, kind of get a little washy and have to get out of the throttle. Whereas now, keeping his foot in it and just driving through.
Yeah. Good improvement from David Brock here. Jean-Marc Silvestri up in the 4th place.
Okay. I think he's been there for a little while.
Yeah, Northrop's kind of dropped back from a bit.
Let's see. So Bellotti has taken the lead from 4.2 down to 3.8. So he's certainly not falling back. He's getting there a little.
Shades of Higgs at Kyalami.
No, I mean, he didn't spin from the lead or crash.
Well, now that he's had a full lap, clean in front of Aldian, I'm really interested to see what the gap is as they come to the line this time. If he can get that down to, say, 3.5, then I'm starting to like his chances of catching up.
Yeah, in the Helicam you can hear you can hear the V10 of Archie get closer and closer, so there might be a
I'm going to
chance
say
here.
3.7 took another 10th in that sector. I know ACC is incredibly finicky with tire temps, tire pressure up and down. I don't even know where to begin looking at how you would want to maintain your pressure on these slicks in the rain.
Well, you kind of a little higher, like about 27. No, a little higher than that. Because it's the rain, you'd kind of want more. So about 28 and a half, 29. I know for wet tires, you want tire pressure of like 30, 31.
Yeah, I mean, some of the tricks that I can pull out of my bag when I need to keep the pressure and the temperature in the tire. And you don't want to do all of these at once unless you're desperate, in which case maybe you should consider slicks, or excuse me, wets. But increasing scrubbing is how you're gonna build tire pressure and maintain it a bit better. So you can increase your toe. So if you run, X amount of toe in the front and X amount of toe in the rear, uh, you can double that number or multiply it by some factor,
You don't
and
run
you
toe
get
in
the
the
same
rear.
effect. You run toe in and you run toe out. Yeah, you do run a little bit of toe in the rear.
I usually have no toe on the rear.
Well, if you want to build pressure in your tires, especially
Oh, wet
in these
conditions then.
conditions, you need to have a bit of toe. That's how I build it. That and you can get creative with your brake vents. Although some cars are more limited in that than others. You'll overheat the brakes before you heat the tires in some cars when you close them up pretty tight, and then obviously you get you add a bit more pressure. Maybe you ride the brake a little bit earlier into the corner to build more heat over time. There's a lot of different things you can do to try to keep these tires up to grips. Um, but it's a bit of a song and dance. So
Well, Jake Northrup has had a very quiet day, but very solid. In line for his best result of the season, and maybe even better if he can continue to close on Silvestri for 4th.
yeah, it doesn't look like Baker's going to close the gap any further to any more cars. He's going to have to be content with 6th and holding on to that. He is half a minute out from the next position from Northrop, maybe
Yeah, he's
more.
pretty far back. Those guys are, well, you're going across the line, so. Quite a ways back. In fact, they're already up in like turn 3, so. I don't think he's going to close that gap.
In other news, back to Brock and Stevenson. Brock is still holding him off for position, and is increasing the gap between them even.
Hell yeah, David. But boo.
I gotta wonder if maybe he's just a rain ace. Maybe that's where he lives. Maybe that's his realm. You know, maybe he's the secret boss of the wet.
Maybe. Ooh, Jake Northrup looks like he's pressuring Jean-Marc Silvestri a bit more here. The gap was around 2.5 seconds at one point.
So interestingly enough, Archie here, even though he got a bit lucky with a few of his best competitors getting a little wobbly and washy on the start, he is approaching max quote unquote rookie driver ballast. So
Yeah.
he's getting up to that point where eventually he's going to max out at his 45 kgs, and we're going to have to see everybody else rise to the occasion.
Like Goldie in here.
Certainly
Or
could.
Bilotti. Wait, does
So
Bilotti have ballast?
does your ballast equation factor in drivers missing races? For example, Legoshi is not here, so he's going to drop in the standings. But I wouldn't necessarily want that to, lower his ballast, because if he comes back, still fast.
So I have it set right now, and of course, this is all a test bed. This is the
Mhm.
first season that we've dealt with this, where if a driver finishes outside of the top 10 and they have ballast, they lose 5 kilos. And so that way, more or less, I would say if you're in the top 10, top half of the field or better, you're usually somewhere competitive. A lot of these drivers end up sixth, seventh, eighth because they make mistakes during the race.
So what if
Um,
they just aren't even here for the race? Is their ballast affected at all?
you won't have ballast taken out if you miss a race. On the contrast of that is, what if a driver comes back after a long hiatus and doesn't have ballast?
Mhm.
And you know that they were earning it before, or the people they were competing with earned it before. Unfortunately, it's really hard to take that into account, and I would hate to start just applying ballast arbitrarily to say, oh, you're
Mhm.
fast, but you had a mechanical issue with your wheels, so you had to stop racing for 3 weeks, and now you're back and you're going to dominate. Although Aldian, using in that example, Aldian didn't dominate, although he was on track to be winning before. I think ballast has shown itself to slow competitors down, but not really disrupt the overall shape of the field. Um, so it, the people that really want to go out there and have the best results over the course of a season to win a championship are going to be, if you miss 3 races and therefore miss 3 sets of ballast, you're already out of that
Mhm.
championship contention. So there's that way to look at it as well. But ballast is a long
Yeah,
term
point there.
thing.
Okay, Archie going through turn 2 with a minute left, so this should be the final lap. Back to Bilotti, who has opened up a sizable gap over Aldian and has really closed it on Bilotti or on Archie. I mean, he's a little under 2 seconds back. I don't see him closing that in one lap, but he's definitely getting there.
Nelson and Dudu Barba are side by side fighting for eighth place right now.
Nelson keeping that inside line,
Still
should have
side by
it.
side.
And
And there
Nelson
we go.
finally clears
Nelson.
him.
Maybe Nelson just likes the rain.
Going into their final lap, Northrup is as close as he's been to Silvestri for 4th place. Just about, 3 or so car lengths back.
And Brock has opened up the gap to almost a second and a half on Christopher Stevenson,
Is that Chris Daddy's boy Stevenson you speak of?
the one and only.
Hell yeah.
Although I think Chris finally found his sense of urgency in one sector alone. He's closed half that gap back up, or more than a full second in the final sector. I think he's really decided he wants to make a move here, and Brock is taking the ultimate defensive line.
Ooh.
Oh, Chris, you don't want that line.
Well, no, because Brock suddenly got really slow through that turn. I think Brock is clearly being extremely cautious about having drivers on the outside of him, not wanting to run up high and bump them, giving them a lot of room, which is unfortunately hurting him there.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Still a good set of racing, and it's only going to improve with time.
All right, let's jump back up to
Oh, Silvestri, is that a fuel?
Silvestri
Oh.
is out of fuel on the
Oh
last
my
lap.
goodness! And he's not going to
Oh,
make it uphill.
no. Unless someone wants to come in and hit him behind. So
That's
that
the
should
King's
promote
Rip.
Baker up to
Yeah.
5th. Yeah.
That'll bring Brock back into the top 10.
All right.
I
that,
called it.
so it looks like he's
Yeah,
crossed
yeah,
over.
yeah.
So
You know,
Jean
we know.
Archie is our winner. Fantastic drive. Gets his first win
Woo!
of the season after a lot of consistency. Bilotti up in 2nd place. Awesome. Definitely his best run season as well. Jean Aldian, who I don't see him even on the standings here, so I don't know where he's finished. But I know he's been
He's
up
3rd
around.
place. Aldian's 3rd.
I'm showing Jean Archie's 3rd place.
Quiet race
Archie's
for
first.
Carolina.
I'm looking at the season standings right now.
I'm sorry.
So Jake Northrup, 4th place, being promoted, passing over Silvestri. Baker comes home in 5th after quiet race there, once things got sorted. Chanovich, please tell us how to pronounce your name. I think we're doing a decent job, but you are 6th place. David Nelson, all the way up to 7th after all that unfolded. Barb at 8th. Why is this camera showing like this? I don't like this. Okay. Barba is in 8th. Stevenson 9th. Where is Silvestri? Sitting there. It's showing Brock down in 12th.
He also ran out of gas
Did
in
he
the
run out of
exact same
gas?
location.
Oh no.
What's with these Ferraris?
I'm betting they shared
The
some info there.
exact same location. I think it's the exact same location. It had to be gas related.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. Well, that means Peregrini will be our 10th place driver with Silvestri in 11th, Brock in 12th, Shine in 13th. Butler didn't show up. He's showing. Nah, he's not here. Okay, Jones is 14th. Albertson is 15th. Whew.
Do you think he thought the race was over instead of that being a battle for position?
I am wondering, unfortunately we weren't watching, if maybe he thought that race was over and he thought that was the cooldown lap.
Should we
If
hop?
that's the case, that's unfortunate.
And wait, Justin can find out, or
I can join the server right now and get you some on-the-ground reporting. I'll be right back.
let's get some on-the-ground reporting from Justin Swan.
Oh, that was a good race. Some great fights around there. Some guys really showing strengths we hadn't seen in the past. New winner. Really a new podium for the most part. That is, of course, partly helped by
Archie
our
was his
previous
first
winners
win of
not
the
being here.
series.
Well, let us take a look at our schedule. I believe it's Sanford up next. Let's check in on that. Nürburgring GP. Nope, next is Zolder. And then there will be a multi-week break.
Oh, well, yeah,
Zolder.
multi-week break. I think that's the first half of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. We're finishing up at Zolder. That'll be a fun one. Love Zolder, personally. I know some don't like it, but I think it's a lot of fun to drive and race. Always action-packed, to say the least. What are they saying? Nope, nothing about fuel.
Oh, big stretch. Woo! Hopefully, we can get some word in Justin Swan about what exactly happened on that chaotic last lap there. Is Ayrton dead?
No, just waiting.
I thought you waterboarded yourself again. Well, this time you were successful.
Yeah, no, that would wake me up.
Oh, can we go back into the game? We can see the text there.
Nothing yet.
You watch the the audio from desktop, and you can see when the wiper goes and it hits the end of its travel, it goes whoop, and it spikes.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, what
Alright.
news do you bring us?
All right, so it is true the Ferrari camp had worked out a very aggressive fuel strategy for the wet,
Oh,
and
no.
unfortunately in the drier conditions they had used more fuel than they had calculated for. So both of them had run out of fuel on the final lap. Very unfortunate. Other
Bellotti
than
didn't run
that,
out of fuel though.
no, I think he was on his own strategy,
Javier
but
would
it is
say you
very
hate to see it.
unfortunate. You hate to see it. Competitors did say though that everybody that was on slicks had trouble keeping the temperatures in the tires and keeping the pressure in the tires, and that while the wets were definitely not going to work because they were overheating very badly, the dries, at least in the early part of the race, were not happy. So it seems like the people who might have gambled a little bit and added extra pressure into the dry tires for the early part of the race might have paid off in the late part of the race after after they were able to get pressure in the tires from the dry line coming in the last 10 or 15 minutes. But
Oh,
other
that's
than that,
unfortunate.
it's very unfortunate.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
I did not hate to see the race. That was fun. And I am genuinely excited now for the season to, get underway after this next race with the second half. Now that we're starting to see the field kind of come together as, the back half is starting to show some real performance gains. That
That's what
midfield
we're
fight
here
is
for.
getting a lot busier.
That's generally what we're here for.
Alrighty, well,
Thing.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
let you
should we
guys
wrap
do
it
your
up?
sign off. Thank you for having me.
All right,
Absolutely.
pleasure to have you.
Well,
There's still
then,
time to sign up, by the way. If someone watching this wants to sign up, after we're having 2 weeks off starting Easter, and we'll be back with another 5 races, you're more than welcome to join us.
honestly, why
Bye-bye.
are you watching and not signed up? You're making me sad. Cry.
That too.
Okay, well, that was fun. Any final words?
Ooh,
Iggsy?
I hope we can see a lot more people join. I'd love to see about a 20-car grid at least starting after Easter.
Freaking 40-car grid, let's go.
Jeez, we can't even get that in the Sunday GT Challenge.
Well, who does that? Who does that race anyways? I think that might be coming up next, folks. Is it? Maybe not. Is this the off week? I don't know.
This is the off week.
So do they do a practice race or not?
No, we do not do a practice race.
Okay, so there's nothing after this. Go watch NASCAR at Atlanta. That's happening right now.
Ah, fuck that.
Gross. I can't believe you wouldn't want to see that. You're right. It's not great. Okay. Goodbye, folks. Love having you here. We'll see you next week. That is Sunday. Qualifying starts at 2 p.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Pacific time. We'll start stream rolling just about midway into qualifying. Hope to see you then. Adios.
Adios.